Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. Democrat disaster looms as blacks shift to Trump. Are the two new polls indicating President Trump's approval among blacks has quadrupled since the 2016 election a harbinger of a dramatic political shift? Only the polling on November 3rd, 2020 matters, but an Emerson survey showing Trump with 34.5% support among blacks and a Rasmussen poll pegging the support at 34% caused heads to turn this week. Typically, as veteran writers and political analyst Roger Simon notes, Republican poll in the single digits among blacks. Quote, game changer may be one of the great cliches of our time, but this would actually be one, he writes. If even remotely true, Democrats should be having a nervous breakdown. They depend more than ever on African Americans for success in elections. And I see the change happen because people are starting to ask the question, what have the Democratic Party done for me lately? That's what African Americans, blacks are starting to say. And if I would go even further to ask, what have the Democratic Party ever done for African Americans? And I'm hard pressed to think of any solid answer. We see that what the Trump economy is doing for all minorities across the board. I'm talking blacks, I'm talking Hispanics, I'm talking women, everything. Every economic barometer you look at, we're up from the Trump presidency. But he points out that if Trump were to garner even 18% of the black vote, he would easily win in 2020. Quote, if he had anything close to the 34%, it would be a runaway, a disaster for Democrats, Simon writes. He acknowledges polls are fickle, but he cites several factors that lead him to believe they're accurate. The economy. African American unemployment rates are the lowest on record, even for teenagers, and wages are rising. Kanye West, the superstar entertainer who often dons a MAGA hat, argues that blacks have set themselves up for exploitation by putting all of their political eggs in one party basket. The Al Sharpton factor. How much longer will blacks follow the likes of exploitation artists who obviously prosper when other blacks fail indeed? Prosper because they fail. In Westworld, the right approach isn't to see yourself as a victim, but to improve yourself as an individual, to work hard, go to school, be entrepreneurial, and of course, as we know from his latest hit and endeavors, believe and trust in God, Simon writes. Would you follow West or would you follow Sharpton? The results of the decision are obvious, irrespective of the extreme differences in their talent. Trump, meanwhile, is presenting to blacks a message for economic opportunity at their schools and churches. Quote, his success has either been ridiculed or more often deliberately ignored by the mainstream media, says Simon. They are loath to report what he is doing for fear that it might be good. Nevertheless, he is continuing to increase his efforts going into the campaign. Simon believes the shift is ultimately about turning away from the Democrats' identity politics, which he describes as new form of segregation, and back to the colorblind society envisioned by Martin Luther King. Wouldn't it be ironic if the idealism of those days was finally realized with the help of Trump or an alliance of Trump and West? He asks. Stranger things has happened. But let me know what you think. Do you think these 34% polls that's coming out is true, or do you think these polls mean absolutely nothing? Leave your comment down below, like, share, and subscribe, and check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. And oh yeah, click that subscribe button on YouTube, y'all. We're trying to get the numbers up. Until next time. We live in a real nightmare. We live in a real nightmare.